There's an invisible law that has been drilled into you since the day you were born. A law more ruthless than any religion, more efficient at bending people to obedience than any king, government, or ruler ever could. It's never named aloud. Instead, it's whispered into your ears so persistently that it becomes a second skin. Be pleasant, be polite, be accommodating. They convince you that this is what makes you a good man. But what if I told you that this goodness has nothing to do with morality? It's about control. Every empire, every institution, every authority that has ever existed has understood one fundamental truth. A courteous population is a submissive one. A man terrified of offending will never rise up. A man desperate for approval will never lead. Machiavelli saw it centuries ago. He observed entire republics crumble, not from armies invading, but from men too timid to say no. Men who confused being liked with being respected. Men too soft to lead, too compliant to endure. So he wrote a book that terrified rulers more than any rebellion ever could. A book that bluntly stated, if you want power, stop seeking to be loved. The church tried to ban it. Monarchs condemned it. Why? Because it unveiled their deepest secret. That niceness is nothing more than a leash around your neck. And yet here you are 5 centuries later, still wearing it proudly. Apologizing when you've done nothing wrong. Laughing at jokes that insult you. Complying with requests that drain you. All out of fear of being called rude. Look closely at every man who wields real power. Every leader, conqueror, master of fate, they share one quality. They are willing to be disliked. They don't chase approval, they demand respect. Society will scream that rudeness is evil, that arrogance is unforgivable, that a cold heart is sinful. And history shows. They said the same about every man who refused to bow. Here's what Machiavelli tried to teach you. You cannot be powerful and endlessly likable. You have to choose. The moment you stop needing to be liked, you become free. Dangerous, authentic. What you're about to hear isn't advice for self-improvement. It's a blueprint for war. A strategy for annihilating the weakest part of you. The obedient, smiling servant who fears being rejected more than failure itself. You were not born to be agreeable. You were born to be formidable. So erase the people-pleaser inside you. Not tomorrow. Not gradually. Now. Every second you delay, a piece of your true self dies. There's a sickness quietly spreading through men today. Subtle, invisible, centuries in the making. It doesn't strike the body, it devours the will. It eats the spine, leaving the mind sharp but the spirit submissive. Machiavelli would have called it what it is, a political disease dressed as virtue. Most men are unaware they're infected. They mistake politeness for morality, silence for maturity, and self-sacrifice for honor. Oh, first time you're punished for saying no, told to stop being difficult, rewarded for staying quiet. You learn that approval equals safety, that making others uncomfortable equals danger, that harmony is sacred. So you fold your anger inward. You silence your instincts. You replace your own desires with what keeps the peace. Over time, this becomes habit, then belief, then identity, and the world applauds you. You're such a good boy. So polite. So easy to work with. They praise the disease because it makes you predictable, harmless, a man who will never challenge them. By the time you're an adult, the infection has fully matured. Its symptoms are subtle, almost invisible. You apologize reflexively, even when you've done nothing wrong. You agree with those you don't respect to avoid friction. You maintain draining relationships out of fear of solitude. You work tirelessly, speak little, tolerate insults, delays, disrespect, and convince yourself it doesn't matter. Until one day, you wake up and realize your entire existence has become a long string of it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, those around you, those you sought to please, take more. They demand more, expect more, because the disease doesn't make others kinder, it emboldens them. Why the people-pleaser always loses. You might think others appreciate your niceness. They don't. They interpret it. When you can't say no, they assume you have no boundaries. When you avoid conflict, they assume you will not defend yourself. When you rush to help, they assume your time is worthless. When you are always available, they assume you are unimportant. Humans don't respond to kindness. They respond to consequence, to cost, to clear limits. A man without boundaries cannot demand respect, he can only plead for it, often unknowingly. This is the fatal flaw of the people-pleaser. He attempts to purchase respect with kindness. But kindness is free, and what is free is worthless. The world rewards scarcity, not generosity. Resolve, not agreeableness. Strength, not softness. And deep down, every man knows this. Even the people-pleaser knows it. That's why he feels exhausted, disrespected, overlooked. He lives in a moral fantasy while everyone else operates in reality.